Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best value for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems. David Beard, CRM Principal, and Jeff Richards, Head of Training Program Development for Sage CRM, spend time chatting with customers, resellers, and others about Sage CRM in action around the globe. Across 3 episodes, Jeff Richards and David from the Sage CRM team talk with Jeff Ryan, Managing Director from our partner AWCape. That's awcape.co.za, who specialize in delivering CRM and accounting solutions across the African continent. In this episode, we talk to Jeff about his early life in South Africa, their recent project with a housing village where CRM manages resident interactions like peas and carrots, and how AWCape engage customer stakeholders beyond the accounts team. Hello, Jeff. Welcome along, and tell us about yourself as an intro.
Hi, David. Hi, Jeff. It's nice to be here. Appreciate the invite. It's difficult to tell about myself in a very short space of time. I've done a lot in my life, but I like to see myself as an Irish South African. I was born in Ireland, but I've grown up in South Africa, so I have affinity to both countries. Probably the point of interest for none of your listeners is that I was a game ranger at some stage, but it is a passion of mine, and much like the Sage systems that we implement, it's something that I try and go back to very often.
It's probably more of a lucrative opportunity in South Africa than it is in Ireland, I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's not many snakes, and thanks to St. Patrick, but there's not any other animals really either.
I don't know. I've been to Temple Bar. I know that there's something of a wild nightlife anyway there.
That's true. After a few Guinnesses and some very strange people running around there.
I think that's a whole other series we should do, Jeff, but another time.
Another time.
So tell us about AWCape, Jeff. What's your story with them, and what do they specialize in South Africa?
So AWCape is a Sage business partner. We've got quite a rich history across the years. We've primarily focused on ERP implementation, sales, and we've branched out into HR payroll as well as Sage CRM, and what the basis of this conversation is. But we've also got a subsidiary in South Africa for training, Applica Training, which is a really great company. And we're actually kind of thinking of rebranding training to coaching. I think the word is a little bit different in the way the systems work nowadays. It's less around hands-off from a business partner approach and more a hand-holding. And we like that approach with where we're going with that.
I certainly hadn't heard much of AWCape before. Jeff might know differently, but one of the reasons you came to my attention was some work you did with a CRM installation for a village. Can you tell us more about that? What prompted them to talk to you about Sage CRM?
Yeah, so Heidelberg Village has always been a very good customer of ours. We've done a lot of work from them from a 300 cloud perspective, and we've always had good relationship, always checking in with them, what they're doing. And one of the things that came to the fore with us was around their management from requests coming from their residents. So they have to manage in the village, if any items that need to be repaired, or you need someone to come out and paint the house, or some maintenance issue. And basically they were managing this through pieces of paper and phone calls, and it was all over the place. It really, really wasn't a great system. And so we kind of suggested them, said, have you looked at, Sage CRM? It's not your primary use of Sage CRM, but because they're a Sage 300 cloud customer and the discounts available for them within that environment, they took the Sage CRM system, looked at it, saw the demo, and thought, we could use this from a workflow management perspective, put it into our call centers, have someone allocating leads, putting in approvals, and then obviously linking it back to the financial system from a payment perspective, which was fantastic. And you can see we've got a success story up on our website. You can read all about how that's worked for them and just automated the process. And they've only had good things to say since then. And they have actually, recently I've seen the request for multiple invoices for more users. So they're obviously seeing the potential of the system and taking it a little bit further.
One of the questions we like to ask, and I'll get Jeff to do his version of it in a second, the other Jeff, what do you think that prompted them to understand what CRM could do with them? Because a lot of the times, particularly with accounting customers, they don't know what CRM necessarily can do. So what was the spark that lit the idea?
I've got to give the credit to our team. Our team is very good about delivering business solutions. And we we looked at a couple of options that they could do. I mean, you can build a whole lot of solutions to manage your service desk. There's plenty of open source software out there that you can implement and everything. But I think in terms of their unique situation where they've already got 300 cloud running, they wanted financially management. They wanted to have a system that was easy to integrate. They didn't want to have a separate system for managing their service desk and their customers, and it didn't integrate. I think that's one of the things that a lot of business partners miss from a holistic perspective. We believe in delivering solutions across the organization. So our team is very keen to make sure that there's systems that integrate with each other. And, Sage CRM and Sage CRM Cloud are what is the Forrest Gump one? Like peas and carrots. I think they really work well together. They're seamlessly integrated. The information is readily available. It's got some great functionality. And I think one of the other things once they showed the demo, I think and I think you mentioned in one of your podcasts around how you wished software was developed by the end user or the support staff. I think that was one of your guys' quotes. And I think that's really important. It's really user friendly. And it's customizable. You can do what you want. You can bring your emails in. You can tweak it to your heart's content. Your visualizations, your data is all available. Yeah, that's just a really great system. And I think it was sold on our sort of advice, but also on the demo that we showed them.
May I ask about that demo experience that the customer had? And it's Helderberg Village, isn't it? Helderberg has a managing board. It has its own management team. And was the demo you shared, was that a standard demo or something that was handcrafted for them?
It was pretty much what was out of the box, to be fair. We work with the specialists that we have in our team, and we kind of identify the needs of the clients. So we might have a couple of sample companies or demo data that we play around with. But I think it's really just the overall look and feel of the product itself just makes it easy to sell. You can show how, the items are coming in, how it's an email just to generate a service desk request in this instance that can be managed and allocated to someone else, how you have the different work clues, how you have the management portal so you can see who's outstanding or which tasks, how you can override that if someone's on leave, the simplicity of, integrating into the Exchange server, all of those things just made sense to the stakeholders we were showing.
When I think about projects and when we think about the sales process in Demics being able to share from a business perspective, very often for Sage CRM partners, their principal contact, because they've come from the accounting world, it is the accountants, it's the finance teams rather than the departments that have the business problem or the business issue that they want to solve within the rest of the business. How did you go about the process of identifying the stakeholders and the people who are actually the decision makers who wanted to solve the problem?
So yeah, I think we were quite lucky in this regard, is that the CEO was getting in his ear around the problems that were coming from the customers, that certain things weren't being maintained, and items were being dropped, and this is the fourth phone call I made and nothing's been done, and it was being raised and escalated. And obviously, in terms of their business, it very much is customer facing. I think it's, if people would want to live in this village and retirement village because of what this level of service they're getting, and they didn't have a customer relationship management system, they didn't have any ability to understand who their customer was. They weren't sure if the details were correct. Were they understanding, if their phone numbers were even up to date? So I think although we addressed one specific issue, which was looking at addressing service desk issues, it was more around how do we look at this in terms of our existing customers in this case, and how we manage them better. And that was what the CEO was hearing. So although the finance team was part of the stakeholders, he was also there listening from the sales and the management staff and the operations and saying we're not doing a very good service in terms of what our customers are needing.
And so you've got the 800 residents there, as you rightly say, expecting a level of service, huh?
Can I jump in? Because certainly within the European setting, the idea of essentially a private gated estate, which Helderberg Village is a little bit, certainly with an urban setting within the UK, it would be a little bit different. They are getting a wraparound service so that not only is security provided by Helberg Village, but also the management and everything from water supplies through to rubbish collection. Is that more or less correct?
And also remember that it's a retirement village primarily. So there's medical care. There's different needs. Obviously, when people get older, that'd be looked after as part of that estate as well. So it's not your typical gated community in South Africa that's just primarily security, and this is literally a lifestyle sort of choice for retirement.
So very much sort of a sheltered village. Okay. Yeah. So I'm now able to place that firmly within a British context.
In the next episode, our guest talks about other successes with Sage CRM, why centralizing customer support is critical, and what he would like to see appear in the product to support new ways of working in the future. You've been listening to Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems.